Good evening, everyone. Nice to see such a nice crowd. I'm going to start with back in 2021 timeframe. I was invited to a BRAVE meeting, and I sat in the seats like you are tonight. And the only difference is we had parent after parent coming up to the podium talking about the problems that they were encountering with their school board. We were in COVID at the time. Children were being masked. The parents were upset because of online learning. They had to work. Their kids weren't up to speed on their studies, and they were concerned about the materials in the curriculum and the inappropriate books that were being offered in the classroom, and it was going on and on and on. And I sat in the audience there, and I'm thinking, I'm so glad that's not happening in my school district. So I went home and I thought about it, and the next day I called my fellow crusader and grandma in Monroeville and talked to her about this because I was so upset that with these people in these other school districts. And we decided that we needed to investigate our own school district, that we needed to do the homework for our own school district, because we can't be naive. And when we start hearing things on the news about other school districts, and we just decided, okay, we're going to get this done and do what we need to do as parents, as grandparents, as parents and taxpayers, because our money, our tax money, is paying for all of this, your tax money. So for us to sit back and not do anything was not the right way to go, okay? It's like giving somebody an open check to your bank account. You don't know what's going on. So we decided that we would, I'm going to get my little notes here, that we would do what we had to do, and we gathered a group of people to talk about it, and then we were finding out more and more things that were happening in our school district. One of my main things tonight, I'm very upset about Planned Parenthood making an announcement that they will be supporting school board candidates. Now, Planned Parenthood is not only in the abortion business, they're also in gender-affirming care business. This is not a biblical principle as far as I'm concerned. They will give hormone therapy for a male that wants to be female or a female that wants to be male. And there are some restrictions here, but they will give you therapy if you need a therapist, if you need hair removal, if you need surgery, they'll give you referrals for that. I don't think that's something that I want my child or my grandchildren. I have 15 of them and a great-grandchild, and I don't want that happening with my child. So we put a plan. We knew we needed to inform the public, the community, about this type of a business. We needed to build some teams, and most of all, we really needed to pray. And the more we were working on this, the more upsetting it was getting. So we would ask people to run for school board, and we realized people don't know basic things about school board. They don't know. I had a man that's very intelligent, he's high academia, and he said, well, what do they do? Well, see, you're paying taxes for that, and you don't even know, and people are not going to the school board meetings, so I have no clue what's going on. Not that every school board is bad, it's not. We had some good people on the school board, but sometimes decisions are made for you, good, bad, or indifferent. And if I'm paying for it, I want to know what it is, okay? The only thing that we thought would be a good tool for when we were out marketing is we created a job description for a school board director. It told the person, we didn't distribute it, all over the place, but we would talk to people about being a school board director and thinking about running for office. And the only requirements to be a school board director is you only have to be 18 years of age. I don't know what you were doing when you were 18, but I sure wasn't thinking about being a school board director. And that you reside in a community where you live, and for a year, and then you have to be a U.S. citizen. So, okay, so that right there was kind of an eye-opener for me, because I really wasn't aware of the restrictions or whatever. So we put this together. These school boards are sitting on tens of millions of dollars. Like at the time, Monroeville Gateway School Board was like $90 million. I think it might be 100 by now. Montour, I think, is up. I'm in Montour School District now. I think they're up to $80 million. They're sitting on a lot of money, a lot of money. And you want that money to be spent for your child's education. You want them to have good math skills. You want them to have good reading skills. You want them to be science-oriented. You want them to be a well-rounded individual. So when we put this together, we put the Gateway School Board, I did one for Montour, and we put the website on it so that people could go in there and look. Who is on your school board? People don't know. They don't even know who their mayor is, unfortunately. So you would be able to go in here, you'd be able to look at their policy, you'd be able to look at the ordinances. And that was where we were trying to lean people in that direction. So we formed this candidate search committee, and at the bottom of this sample, it just says Monroeville or it says Montour, but that was just thrown on there. But at the time, it was Cheryl and I were on that, and we vetted these candidates as best we could. So where do you find these candidates? Where do you find these people? You know, it's easy to say, okay, you know, read this, but where do you actually go and find these people? So we realized we had to get out into the public. We had to let people know we're looking for people. We put a little ad in the paper. We tried to put an advertisement on every website that we could find, every educational website that we could find, and try and find these people. We went actually to the Monroeville school board meetings, or the Gateway School Board meeting. We went to civic meetings. We went to the Lions Club. We went to all the different places that we could go to. And we had a team that would go to, and we took someone with us, and we would be able to vet these people and listen to what they had to say, observe them. So what are you looking for? You're looking for somebody that has common sense, that they have a strong moral character and a backbone to say no whenever it's time to say no. And we were looking for people with varying backgrounds. Maybe we need somebody in a construction or architectural business, because schools are always building and rebuilding and remodeling and doing things like that. Somebody that has that kind of a skill would be good. An accountant would be good. Bean counters are always good. You look into your people that are retired. They're looking for something to do. The wife wants them, you know, go find something to do. This would be a good job for somebody that really has a good sense of direction. We needed medical professionals. We ended up having a social worker on the board. Okay, so those things were necessary because the kids were having trouble emotionally with this disruption in the school at the time. So okay, so we needed also an advisory group. We formed like a little advisory group because we don't know everything either. And we had a couple pastors, we had some retired municipal councilmen, we had some retired school board members, and we would ask them for their advice because we didn't know. We didn't know about a PA ethics code. We didn't know about PA, what's that book, Cheryl? The public school code. We didn't know even, you know, what all these different things. We were learning also. We were in a big learning process ourselves. We didn't know how to file right to know. We didn't know anything about the right to know law. We didn't know any of that. But when we were finished, we were pretty well rounded in that area, thank God. So, in addition to all these two committees, we needed a very strong boots on the ground people. And these people were wonderful. And they would help us with making copies of things. They would help us find other people to go door to door, stuff envelopes, write letters, send postcards, whatever needed to be done for a regular campaign. But the boots on the ground people are very important. And I know Sue said you thank them once, you thank them twice, you thank them 100 times because they work crazy hours, crazy times, and they'll do anything that you ask them to do. So I talked to you about searching for candidates, how to find candidates, have a working boots on the ground type of team. But the last thing I want to talk to you about is the meaning of prayer and how important it is. Years ago, I attended a conference and there was a fellow there, his name was Tom. And Tom was having some difficult times in his life and it just seemed like a black cloud was following him everywhere. He lived in California, so that might be understandable. But I guess he was talking to a friend of his who is more of a spiritual person. He said, you know, Tom, I know a lady, an older woman, and she's probably about 85 at this point, and she lives in a high-rise apartment. And he said, she's a prayer warrior. And Tom didn't know what that meant, but quickly he realized that this is a woman who prays for everybody and everything. And he said, I'm going to set you up, Tom. I'll call her and maybe you could go see her tomorrow. So he went to the woman's apartment and he noticed that the door was open and he could hear some groaning and talking in the background. And he thought maybe something was wrong. So he walked in and there was this woman laying on the floor, prostrate over newspaper. And he hurried up and went in and he said, oh my goodness, Mary, are you okay? And she got up, he helped her. So yeah, I'm fine. She was praying for the world. She had the newspaper of different places, all the problems. She used to pray for one thing or 5 things a day, and she said it got to be so cumbersome. She decided to lay the newspaper on the floor, prostrate herself, and pray. Pray for peace. Pray for the problems of the world. Pray for stopping the nonsense that we're dealing with. And he said, he just was so surprised about it. And she said, would you like me to pray for you? And he said, yes. So she said, okay, hold on a second. She went in the back room. She was gone, he thought, for a terribly long time. She came back with a calendar that maybe you would have if you went to the dentist. And she turned the pages and put him on the schedule for 10:30 on a Wednesday morning. And she said, this is when I'll pray for you. So I'm telling you this because there's some people that say, well, you know, I'm too old, my legs hurt, my neck hurts, I don't have a car, I just can't, I don't have it in me anymore, you know, I don't have the drive. You know, there's one thing that we all have, and it is to pray. And if we can pray like that woman who was laying on the floor, I thought about doing it myself, but my husband will think I'm, you know, I don't know. But you could put your hand on the newspaper and pray for those problems because they become overwhelming and they can take over your life. So I just want to say at the end here that I want you to remember you are the guardian of your home, where you live, where you pay taxes, how your children are educated. You are in charge of that. And I just want to God bless all of you. Thank you for coming.